Welcome back to the nationally syndicated Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Barbara Comstock, she is a regular on the program, has been for quite some time. She is a personal favorite. Love having her on the program, a former member of Congress, former Justice Department official. She's been a member of the Virginia legislature, so she brings enormous experience, and now she works in the tech space, working on behalf and with tech companies when it comes to recognizing their importance as innovators as well as fostering free speech. And so always love having you on the program, Barbara, and Happy New Year and welcome back.
Happy New Year. Great to be with you again.
So interesting things going on both in Texas and Virginia with some moves that are obviously and blatantly anti-free speech, and they're geared at technology companies. Florida and Texas. I mentioned Texas because I'm from Texas. I was definitely going to have you talk about Florida. And so, they're interesting, and they're packaged neatly as not anti-tech, but holding tech in check. That's how they're packaged. But when you get down to the essence of them, they are anti-free speech when you look at these. Talk a little bit about it. Give us some context, and focus primarily, I know, on the Florida one, which you have a much closer eye on.
Yes, well, both of these cases are being teed up to go to the Supreme Court now. And just yesterday, the court did ask the Biden administration to weigh in on them, as both of them are, going up to the Supreme Court. And, both of them, but I'll, focus on Florida just to take that as an example, infringe on First Amendment rights of businesses by compelling them to host speech that, may not be appropriate or objectionable or violates their terms of service or conflicts with the company's, because these are private companies' policies and beliefs. So these bills don't prevent, and in Florida, it's SB 7072, which Governor DeSantis, made a big show of, saying, this was going to crack down on big tech. But when he passed it, they very much singled out large companies, large websites. It didn't go after social media at large because they just included certain companies. It had to be 100 million users a month, 100 million gross annual revenue. So it didn't include Parler or Rumble or Gab, all of which have certainly a lot of objectionable content on them if you look at it be objective about it. Truth Social, of course, Donald Trump saying it doesn't apply to that. They're not included. And initially when they did the bill, they exempted Disney that has websites. But then when Governor DeSantis got mad at Disney, remember, they didn't like his Don't Stay Gay bill. So they went in and they said, okay, that exemption we gave you, we're taking it away, thus taking, it was a viewpoint-based repeal on top of a viewpoint-based exemption they had given them. So this was a very selective, discriminatory bill to start with, where he went in and said, we're just going to pick companies we don't like, and we're going to pass a bill that says what they do and cannot do. And then there's fines against them, huge fines. Like one of the things it said is you cannot take down a you can't say if you're a politician running for state office, it's going to be a $250,000, I believe, $250,000 per day if you're a candidate for state office and you're taken off of, say, Twitter or Facebook. Now, there are candidates sometimes who are pedophiles. This has happened in our country, in our state. Yeah. And so if you're a state and you're out there saying highly objectionable, putting objectionable things up, and somebody says, hey, we don't put pedophile stuff up on our social media sites. We don't want it. We're taking this guy or whoever offline. You would be fined $250,000 a day. because this guy running for state office who wanted to say he's for, this kind of thing, or other objectionable things, whatever, if they were advocating violence, if they were advocating things that, your social media site said was hate crimes, or things that you had decided on your site were inappropriate, you would now be fined $250,000 a day. And they put all kinds of, you have to explain all these hundreds of thousands of decisions you make a day. You'd have to have detailed explanations, things that are.
For the rest of the interview, click the links below.